This update has completely changed the meta, and today I'm going to be showing you the top 5 most broken brawlers that you need to play before they're nerfed. At number 5, we have Gail. Gail got a brand new hypercharge this update, and to be honest, every brawler that gets a hypercharge just becomes better by default, but now he's really popular in this meta. Before, he was really only used in like Kaboom Canyon with his jump pad gadget. But overall, Gail is such a versatile brawler with his range, slows, and stuns. He's just an incredibly hard brawler to approach with his supers and gadgets. His hypercharge isn't broken. I mean, I think it's just a super 3 times, but it's still fairly strong, and of course, it'll give you those temporary stat boosts when activating it. And I think his best star power is easily his slow one. Being able to slow someone just by landing a hit is incredibly powerful if fully utilized. Like, you could pair a Gale with a sharpshooter and easily tag team the enemy just by slowing them. Overall, Gale is a very handy brawler in pretty much every game mode, and he'll never fail you whether he's a mid, a lane, or just whatever you need him for. At number 4, we have Meg. I don't think a brawler has ever been reworked twice except for Meg. So in this update, they shortened her range but made her attack have more bullets. This rework definitely has its pros and cons. The con is that Meg no longer counters certain brawlers like Piper that just has that range, but the pro is that Meg is now an insane damage dealer. You can see in this gameplay right here that I'm just absolutely shredding through these tanks, and to me Meg feels a lot like Gale but just simply better. Getting in her range is just a death sentence with her reworked attack combined with her super. And most people don't realize this, but Meg out of her mech can be nearly as dangerous. Her star powers can either be used to stop aggressive brawlers or counter low DPS with her shield. Again, with this trade-off of her range being a bit shorter, she's no longer as reliable of a mid, but she can still be an exceptional lane now because it's really hard to approach her now. I'm just doing so much damage. You can see on screen I'm just shredding through these BBs, and with my super they just really have no way to like actually get on top of me. Again, her only real downside now is just her range. She's no longer as viable in maps like Shooting Star, and other tanks can easily pressure her as well as tank counters, so you definitely still have to utilize her other utilities like her gadgets and star powers to stay alive in certain situations. Barry is at number 3. As always, the newest brawler is completely broken, and at first I thought his attack was going to be just like Barley's, but it actually lasts a whole 6 seconds, which that means you can just put 1 or 2 shots down and it'll give you so much control. And his trait, honestly, is what makes him so broken. Barry's trait is if you heal your teammates and even yourself, you'll get supercharged. I mean, I hope they give this trait to like Doug because he honestly really needs it. Doug is still F tier. Barry's best modes is probably Heist because with his healthy additives gadget, he does a whole 20% to save. So if you use 4 gadgets on it, that will do 80% to the Heist save. I swear every new brawler just always destroys in Heist, it's ridiculous. I like his trait because it really encourages you to heal your teammates, unlike Byron to where you don't really get anything out of it, so you can easily forget about it. Especially using your super on them because you can just change your super very easily. The only small problem with Barry is that he's a little squishy. It's easy to think you're just unstoppable and super in on someone, but you only have 5,000 HP, so you're gonna get 2-shot by Piper or any other brawler that just have a lot of that high DPS. Everything about him is just so strong on paper. I especially like his ammo star power. So just by standing in your own attack, you gain 50% ammo faster. And since his attacks are so long, I mean it's 6 seconds, it's worth it to just always place down an attack on yourself so you can have that extra ammo to throw on enemies or on yourself. So in my opinion, the best way to play Barry is, again, put an attack on yourself by that extra ammo and just completely focus on healing your teammates. Doing that will get your supers very quickly and just keep your team fully healed up. And if you ever need to, you can just put 1 or 2 attacks down near a choke point because it's 6 seconds. No one's gonna go near that. At number 2, we have Lily. It's crazy to think how one simple change can make a brawler go from F to S tier. Lily was given a second ammo bar on this update, and to be honest, that was all she really needed. Before this, I feel like Lily would always barely lose interactions. Despite being an assassin, I mean, she really couldn't go hand to hand with like any brawler. But now with not only her second ammo bar, but also being able to attack twice incredibly fast, Lily can now make quick work of most brawlers in the game. I still think the best part of her is her realm gadget. I mean, having extra gadget gear is pretty much essential for Lily. Her gadget is just so important for sneaking up, as well as escaping tough spots. I think the only big issue with Lily is that she just relies on her gadgets a little too much. I mean, once you run out, unless the map you're playing on is very bushy, it's going to be very hard for her to approach, which is why I wouldn't really play her on open maps. I mean, I would only play her on maps where you can easily sneak up on people and you could just save your gadgets for as long as possible. And when it comes to her star powers, I prefer the one that does more damage when you hit a super on someone, but I have seen some people say that the speed one is like pretty useful on open maps. I mean, I would personally recommend the damage star power overall, but I mean, you can always try both to see which one best suits your playstyle. Now before we go into the number 1 most broken brawler, I want to give an honorable mention, which is Chester. Chester was one of the 3 brawlers that got a rework this update, which made his old star power part of his base kit, and gave him a new star power, which just makes his first spell stronger. I mean, this small change has made him such an underrated pick in this meta, and he's one of the best when it comes to mid-range. His large variety from his super and candy beans gadget, which will mean it'll always give him a good buff, it makes him very hard to approach. Not to mention, you can save your 3 and 4 bell attack and just shred anyone that comes near you. And finally, the number 1 most broken brawler right now is Frank. Out of all the rework ideas I saw for Frank, none of them came close to how strong they actually made him. He's practically impossible to push if you're mid to low range because he's capable of dealing like 10,000 damage in less than 2 seconds. And to be honest, Frank's gadgets have always been really strong on paper. I mean, his noise cancelling gadget completely negates any tank counter. So if you're ever up against a brawler that has stuns or knockbacks or slows, you can just pop that gadget and completely ignore it all for like 2 to 3 seconds. So that means extra gadget gear is very important to have for Frank, especially if you're in a Frank 1v1, because most of the time it comes down to just how many gadgets you guys have left. And what makes him even better right now is that he got a brand new hypercharge, and you know, any tank that gets a hypercharge is going to be good, because just by taking damage you can slowly charge it up. And his hypercharge design is just really good to begin with, just a huge area of a stun. I have heard that it is possible to dodge. It's like not a complete circle, it like goes out in lines, so it is possible to dodge, but it's incredibly hard. It's almost like trying to dodge like a spike curveball. It's very weird. Frank is good in practically every game mode. I do prefer like gem grab, brawl ball, just maps where there's a lot of close quarters and bushes for him to walk around in. But of course, even on completely open maps, you can combine him with a healer like Byron or Kit. Kit in Frank is incredibly broken right now because you can just keep walking up and getting healed and they just can't do anything. Kit's always been really strong, and you pair him with the newest tank that's broken and just, you get a free comp. And now, Frank has just become this brawler to where you want to intentionally keep yourself at low health so you can utilize those really fast attacks that you get. And that is going to wrap up the 5 most broken brawlers in this update. I hope you all enjoyed. If there's any brawlers you think are really strong right now, be sure to leave a comment. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on all my helpful guides. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later. Have a great day.